The cat will soon be out of the basket, and the solar system secrets are at the tips of our hands. Scientists are already discussing sending missions to Neptune and its largest moon in the outer solar system, using nothing but SpaceX's Starship, bringing back massive quantities of space rock from Earth's moon and Mars, and even finding creative ways to shield Earth from incoming asteroids. Planetary science will go boom, as the Starship will completely change the way we explore the solar system and transform our knowledge of the solar system's moons and planets. We don't think you're ready for what's about to hit you. So let's take a look at the game-changing SpaceX's Starship and its mind-blowing capabilities. Ensure you watch to the end. But before we begin exploring this Starship, kindly subscribe and turn on the notifications button if you haven't already done so, in order to not miss out on any of future uploads. Now let's get started. Starship is a massive spaceship on top of a large launcher known as Super Heavy, which is being developed at a Texas facility dubbed Starbase. Both the spaceship and the Super Heavy are capable of landing on Earth and being reused, thereby lowering costs. On regular, low-cost trips, the complete spacecraft will be capable of carrying 100 tons, 220,000 pounds of freight and passengers into space. Elon Musk, the CEO of SpaceX, has grander plans for the Starship because it's key to colonizing Mars, as he has always desired. Elon Musk presented the project's scientific potential in mid-November during a publicly available virtual meeting held by the US National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine. He said it is critical that we work toward becoming a multi-planet species as soon as possible, and that, with this spaceship, we'll learn a lot about the universe's nature along the way. The fact that Starship is planned to be not only huge, but also inexpensive to launch is crucial to many of these ideas, whereas the European Space Agency, ESA, and NASA must pick and choose which missions to support, and which launch costs in the tens or hundreds of millions of dollars. Regardless, Starship's low cost would allow many more missions to be funded, because with flights as low as $2 million per launch, the low cost of access has the potential to really transform the game for science research. So what exactly makes these Starships different from others that we've seen? Why is it so fascinating that scientists won't stop talking about it? Well, keep watching till the end of the video to find out. Starship offers a significant competitive edge over other Super Heavy lift rockets in development, such as NASA's long-delayed Space Launch System and Blue Origin's New Glenn rocket. In this Game of Thrones, SpaceX is obviously the Stark family because it keeps dominating the space industry. Don't you think so? Anyway, scientists are now fantasizing about what they might be able to accomplish with Starship. Jennifer Heldman of NASA's Ames Research Center published a report earlier this year that looked at some of the scientific prospects that could be offered by Starship missions to the Moon and Mars. One major advantage is that Starship could transport full-size equipment from Earth, eliminating the need to downsize it to fit into a smaller vehicle, as was the case with the Apollo lunar missions. For example, according to Heldman, a drilling rig can be taken along to other planets and be used to drill as we do on Earth. Just imagine for a few seconds what it would look like having a drill rig in space. Just imagine. Anyway, this drilling rig would grant unparalleled access to the Moon and Mars's interiors, where ice and other important materials are believed to exist. Such a notion was previously thought to be a little bit insane, but with a Starship it would be nothing but normal. But when has a little bit insane been too much for Elon Musk? Since the Starship can return to Earth, it will theoretically be able to bring back a large number of samples. The enormous volume of material that could be retrieved from various locations would provide Earth scientists with unprecedented access to extraterrestrial stuff. This could provide answers to a slew of questions, including the Moon's volcanic past and the question of life and astrobiology on Mars and other planets. A direct launch from Earth, or making use of the Moon and Mars as refueling depots, as Elon Musk envisions, could potentially enable more lavish expeditions to other planets. With the look of things, we would soon be able to have a wedding party in Neptune and a honeymoon on Mars. Soon, we hope. Moving on, a spacecraft dubbed Arcanum, proposed by Conex, Conceptual Exploration Research, would utilize Starship's heavy lifting capabilities to investigate Neptune and its largest moon, Triton. Neptune has only been visited once, by NASA's Voyager 2 probe in 1989, and we still don't know nearly enough about it. The Arcanum spacecraft would weigh around 21 metric tons. making it 4 times heavier than the heaviest deep space probe to date, NASA and ESA's Cassini-Huygens mission, which studied Saturn from 2004 to 2017. There is currently no rocket capable of launching such a vessel, but Starship would make it conceivable. According to James McKevitt, a researcher at the University of Vienna and one of the CONEX's co-leads, Arcana would include an orbiter to research Neptune, a lander to study Triton, and a penetrator to strike Triton's surface and perform a seismic experiment to better understand its geology and structure. Some of the suggestions are even more speculative. A large enough rocket, such as the Starship, may be used to prevent an asteroid from striking Earth, according to scientist Philip Lubin of the University of California, Santa Barbara. An asteroid the size of the 10-kilometer wide boulder that wiped off the dinosaurs may be ripped apart by such a starship, which could carry enough explosives before it had a chance to reach our planet. Its shards would harmlessly burn up in the atmosphere. Enjoying the video so far? Then what are you waiting for? Hit that like button. And do leave your comments down below on what your thoughts are about this game-changing Starship and what secrets you think it will unveil. Let's continue. A Starship could also be a more efficient means to launch massive space observatories to study the cosmos. Currently, equipment like NASA's and ESA's Future James Webb Telescope must be launched folded up, which is an expensive, difficult, and delicate technique that is prone to error. NASA has suggested that a proposed super telescope called LUVOIR, which would image Earth-like planets orbiting other stars, could be launched on Starship, while Elon Musk has stated that SpaceX is already working on an interesting project, which involves having a really big telescope, taking a lens that was intended for a ground-based telescope, and creating a space-based telescope with it. There are currently no other details about it available as of now. Furthermore, some scientists have aspirations to use Starship to prepare for visits to distant stars. Starship, according to René Heller of Germany's Max Planck Institute for Solar System Research and colleagues, might provide a low-cost means to test technology for a spaceship capable of traveling many light years to adjacent star systems. Starship might send a sail-powered spaceship to Mars, which would utilize an onboard laser to push against a thin sail and attain amazing speeds, allowing a demonstration outside Earth's orbit to take place. Other suggestions include making use of Starship to send a probe to the volcanic moon Io of Jupiter, which would be difficult to accomplish without a lot of lifting power. Alfred McKeevan, a planetary geologist at the University of Arizona, said getting into orbit and protecting yourself from Jupiter's harsh radiation are both extremely challenging. However, having a large number of people helps. You can have as much gasoline as you want and as much radiation protection as you want, and Starship has these qualities. Want to know when these SpaceX Starships would be launched for missions? Then keep on watching. Elon Musk has said that SpaceX may launch as many as a dozen Starship test flights in 2022, with missions to the Moon and Mars on the horizon, as well as plenty of research potential. Once Starship takes to the air, says Margarita Maranova, a former senior Mars development engineer at SpaceX, there will be a huge increase in the number of people who can fly things. These missions could range from standalone Starship missions to ride-along missions on the existing flight schedule. Adding science hardware is pretty easy when you have a 100-ton capability, Maranova explains. Anyone who wants to buy payload space can do so. It'll be a huge shift in the way we approach science. Of course, there are compelling reasons to exercise caution. While Starship has flown test flights without the Super Heavy launcher, the full rocket launch has yet to occur. It's a large, complicated machine that could yet have issues during development. It's well known that Elon Musk and SpaceX have a history of being sloppy, to put it mildly, with schedules and objectives. Furthermore, Starship's suggested strategy for reaching the Moon and Mars, which relies on repeated refueling flights in Earth orbit, is complicated and untested. However, there are many reasons to be excited about what Starship could accomplish if it succeeds. It might usher in a new era of space study by connecting the inner to the outer solar system, and possibly beyond. The huge Starship rocket, developed by SpaceX, could be the key to unlocking the solar system and even beyond. We have come to the end of the video, and we hope you enjoyed it. If you do, kindly like and subscribe so that you can receive more engaging content in the future. And don't forget to turn on the notification button. See you soon!